Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name is Ross, and as always told, I had a voice for radio. So today, I'm going to be showing you a deck which was suggested by one of my lovely supporters over at patreon.com/PTCGRadio. That is the best place to go and support the channel if you wish. You can get weekly bonus pods there, and you can tell me to make videos, which is kind of fun, to be honest with you. Now, this does come from Rakugo over, that is his PTCGO name, and it's all about Golisopod and Zeraora. And quite frankly, Golisopod and Zeraora make quite a nice combo indeed. Now, Golisopod is a Pokemon that's seen a lot of play for quite a while. It is a Pokemon that's got one really good attack and a couple of other things to like about it. What we really like about it is first impression. Now, initially it only does 30 damage, that's not particularly good. But if you were on the bench and became active this turn, you do 120 for a single grass energy. Plus 210 on a stage 1's pretty good. And it's weak to Blacephalon, but honestly, Blacephalon can one-hit KO you whether you're weak or not. So I'm not worried about the weakness here. You've got a little bit of bulk going on. That's pretty gosh darn nice. One of the big issues for Golisopod is being able to get in and out of the active every turn, because when you jump in the active, you do 120 for 1 energy. That's great. As a side note here, do please remember that Lycanroc is one of the best Pokemon in the format and is weak to grass. But the issue there is actually then getting out of the active every turn. And that's largely where Zeraora comes in. Zeraora has a great ability whereby any Pokemon with lightning energy attached automatically has free retreat. I know, right? That sounds pretty good to me. And it's a basic, of course, so it's super easy to get out and get rolling. As long as you have a grass and a lightning on Golisopod, you are absolutely rolling, because you hit first impression for 120, then you retreat, and then you're just off every turn. If you put a third energy on Golisopod, then you've got Armor Press for 100, which reduces damage done to it next turn by 20, and Crossing Cut for 150, which is important, because with a Choice Band you go up to 180, and something like a Blacephalon will be one-hit KO'd. That's an important number. So Golisopod we know is good. Golisopod has been good for a very long time. We've seen it played with Zoroark and it's been good. We've seen it played with Garbodor and it's been good. There's no argument that it's good. Is it good enough in a big one-hit KO format that we have at the moment? Arguably not, although it does hit for a good weakness and it hits good damage for 1 energy. But once again, Zeraora's got your back. Because if you're not doing quite enough damage with Golisopod, you can bring in Zeraora. Plasma Fist does 160 for free energy, and then you can't attack next turn. But that's not a huge problem, because you've got free retreat, because you will have lightning energy attached to you, so you can retreat into a Golisopod and do 120 for 1 energy. Even though they're very different Pokemon, the fact that Zeraora hits the bigger numbers, but Golisopod hits for 1 energy, the fact that Golisopod needs to retreat but Zeraora gives free retreat, all of this builds up into a nice combination. And then we've got Zeraora's GX attack full voltage. Now obviously if you use this you lose Golisopod's GX attack, which is a bit of a pain. But what you do here is you attach 5 basic energy from your discard pile to your Pokemon in any way that you like. It's energy acceleration. And it's kinda beautiful, and this will help you very, very nicely getting either of these Pokemon up and rolling. Although please do remember that the fighting weakness is a bit of a pain, because Boswell is still running around. We don't care about Lycanroc, because if Lycanroc KOs you, well they're doing it for free energy with Claw Slash, and then you're KOing them with 1 energy for Golisopod. So the weakness, you don't have to be worried about Lycanroc. Lycanroc can KO anything with Dangerous Rogue, but you don't need to be worried about a Claw Slash because you're getting them back for less energy. And this all seems good, but there's a missing piece here. And the missing piece is something to accelerate the energy nicely. And ladies and gentlemen, that is where Vikavolt comes in. Vikavolt's Strong Charge is great. Once during your turn, you may attach a Grass and a Lightning energy from your deck to your Pokemon in any way that you like. And this does a couple of things wonderfully. It gets your Grass energy for Golisopod, It gets your lightning energy for Zeraora, and of course it gets your lightning energy for anything to give it free retreat. One strong charge means a grass energy on Golisopod to attack, and a lightning to free retreat. Or indeed, a lightning on the Golisopod that's in the active for free retreat, and a grass on one on the bench to attack. And one of the huge downsides of Vikavolt is again the huge retreat cost of free, which is a huge problem, except it's actually not a huge problem, because you can attach a lightning energy with Zeraora, and then you've got free retreat. Do, of course, remember, 2 energy from your deck, 1 energy from your hand. That means you can get a Golisopod rolling with Armor Press or Crossing Cut in 1 turn. It means you can get a Zeraora rolling with Plasma Fist in a single turn. Now, in terms of other Pokemon that are in this list here, obviously we're playing Tapu Lele because it's a supporter card. You need well, it's not a supporter card, it's a Pokemon that gets supporter cards. It helps you get up and rolling. But there's also a card that I'm trying to put into so many of my decks lately. It's Alola Meowth from Lost Thunder. I adore Alola Meowth. If it's your first turn and you're going second, you get to do 70 damage for 0 energy, which of course means that you can attach your energy for the turn to your active to retreat them, and then attack with Alola Meowth. So it doesn't matter what you start with. If you get Alola Meowth and Zeraora on the bench, you pop a lightning energy onto whatever active Pokemon you want. They instantly get free retreat because of Zeraora, and then Meowth KOs. And Meowth is KOing so many good things at the moment. Meowth will get a turn 1 KO on a Slugma. Meowth will get a turn 1 KO on a Poipole, and many other Pokemon that are seeing a huge amount of play at the moment. The worst thing about Alola Meowth is trying to get it in the active, but Zeraora giving free retreat really, really helps here. So, in terms of the energy, you're playing a mixture of lightning and grass, fairly obviously. What does the supporter line look like? Well, one of the great things about this deck is that we can actually play 2 different Prism Star Stadiums. We've got Thunder Mountain, which allows you to reduce your energy cost for lightning Pokemon by 1. That means Zeraora now is doing Plasma Fist for a lightning and a colorless. That is 1 strong charge. That's awesome. You can also use it for Vikavolt's attack, but really it's for Zeraora. Golisopod here, that can't use Thunder Mountain, but it can use Life Forest Prism Star. You get to heal 60 damage and 1 special condition from your grass Pokemon. So when Golisopod is out and gets hit and not KO'd, you've got free retreat with Zeraora, and then you can heal it with this, which is lovely. One of the fun things about this deck, you don't even need to play 4 rare candy here, because you can be putting pressure on early game using Golisopod. It means as much as you would like to have your turn 2 Vikavolt, and that is important, you can live without it if you absolutely have to. We play a heavy line of Ace Roller here, quite simply because, well, it's Ace Roller. It picks up your damaged Pokemon, and then you can attack with your other damaged Pokemon. If you pick up a Golisopod and you've got a Wimpod on the bench, side note, Wimpod with free retreat on turn 1 is amazing with Alola Meowth, then you're good. You just evolve up and attack, or you can grab a Zeraora off your bench or whatever. It's pretty tasty. We do obviously play Rescue Stretcher here, because we do need to be able to recover our Pokemon. That's fairly standard in most decks. If I'm entirely honest with you, it's a pretty good card. We see 1 copy of Mysterious Treasure that helps you search out your Tapu Lele. This could potentially be cut because it only searches out your Tapu Lele, but that is useful to have. There is a copy of Switch because as much as we're relying on Zeraora, maybe you don't have one, or maybe you don't have a lightning energy on your Golisopod. It's a nice little backup. We see a mixture of Tate and Liza and Cynthia as your main draw cards in this deck, and they are the best draw cards we've got. Plus Tate and Liza as a searchable Switch is quite nice. We see 4 copies of Nest Ball here, and you need 4 copies of Nest Ball, ladies and gentlemen. You got a lot of basics. You might need that turn 1 Alola Meowth. You need your Grubbin so that you can get your turn 2 Vikavolt. You need to be able to have all of your Nest Balls here to search them out. We see a copy of Bodybuilding Dumbbells, which just gives a little bit of extra bulk to your Golisopod. We see a couple copies of Field Blower. This could potentially be cut to 1 here. It's really useful for getting rid of opposing bodybuilding dumbbells, for getting rid of Choice Band, etc. It's a very powerful card, but you could potentially cut this to add in stuff like extra rare candy if you wanted that consistency. We see a copy of Enhanced Hammer because there's so many things running around. We've got double colorless energy, we've got beast energy, and these are cards which are really good in a lot of decks, and being able to get rid of them and take away your opponent's advantage is rather nice indeed. Obviously we see 4 Ultra Ball because it's the best Pokemon support, well, in terms of searching, and playing 4 Ultra Ball, 4 Nest Ball really does help a lot in terms of actually getting your Pokemon and getting set up. We see a single copy of Choice Band here. Choice Band is an awkward card right now, because it's clearly an amazing card, but there's a lot of decks out there using non-GXs like Boswell, like Granbull for instance, and it's not a useful card in those matchups. We also see here 1 copy of Volkner, and Volkner is one of the things that allows you to play fewer copies of rare candy. I've mentioned we're only playing 2 here. Well, Volkner is searchable with Tapu Lele, and Volkner gets you a lightning energy, relevant in this deck. It basically means free retreat on whatever you attach it to, and it gets you an item card, which could be a rare candy. And then we see 2 copies of Steven's Resolve. Largely it's 2 copies just in case one is prized. Turn 1 Alola Meowth is great going second in some matchups. But in other matchups, or when you go first, this is not a deck that has a good turn 1 option. You're not really doing attacks turn 1 unless you're going second with Alola Meowth. So what we do here is we play Steven's Resolve so that we can search out any free cards. We can grab our rare candy in our stage 2. We can grab our single Field Blower, our single Enhanced Hammer, whatever it might be. And with N rotated out, maybe your opponent's playing Judge or Marshadow, but that's nowhere near as likely as it used to be, so Steven's Resolve is going to hit more often. This deck has consistency with stuff like Steven's Resolve and Volkner, which allow it to play things like 1 Field Blower, 1 Enhanced Hammer, 2 Rare Candy, which would otherwise look unsustainable. If I was going to add a card here, I would be adding an Energy Recycler to get your energy back. It's so powerful in a deck like Vikavolt. But remember, this isn't a Tapu Bulu deck whereby you're discarding free energy per turn. And it's not a Rayquaza deck whereby you have to have as much energy on the field as you can possibly get away with. A lot of your attacks in this game are going to be with a single energy Golisopod, and for that reason, it's not quite so needed as it is in other variants. Does Golisopod have quite enough power to take down some of these non-GX decks? I don't know. Does this deck have quite enough consistency and power to be played instead of something like Vikavolt Rayquaza? Maybe not, or maybe it does. It's a different build, it's a new way of playing, and it's one that I'm a little bit excited about. It's a fun little deck. And frankly, it's not one I've heard very much about indeed. But the fact that Vikavolt helps both your main attackers, they cover each other's weaknesses, you can use 2 Prism Star Stadiums, there's some fun to be had here. But ladies and gentlemen, now it's over to you. I want to know what you think about this deck, so let me know in the comment section. Go nuts, but do remember the rule. Be nice, would ya? And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. And if you do want to support the channel, tell me to make videos, get bonus podcasts, all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. But by far the most important thing, as always, is to look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.